Hi, I'm Michael and this is California. And on Monday, we got a very special update from CMS called Equitable Relief, which addresses Medicare beneficiaries who wanted to make changes or in fact wanted to get enrolled into Medicare but could not over the last couple months because of the lockdown. So today we're going to go over what the specifics of that looks like, who's affected, and how you could utilize that SEP to get back into Medicare or to make a change to your Medicare plan. Now, before we do that, if you find this information interesting, you find it useful, you find it helpful, please make sure that you like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. So the first part of Equitable Relief addresses folks who are trying to apply for Original Medicare, so Part A or Part B. Now, they wanted to apply during the general election period, which is January, February, March, but were not able to because the resources that were needed to apply were not accessible because of the lockdown. So under Equitable Relief, these individuals will have a special enrollment period up until June 17th to apply without any penalties as well. So sometimes if you have Part B and you're eligible to apply for Part B, but you didn't, every month after that, there's a penalty that accrues. But under this SEP, those folks who could have applied in January, February, or March, mainly March, but were not able to because everything was locked down, they'll be able to extend that up until June and not be penalized. Now, there's two ways that folks can apply for their Medicare, Original Medicare. The first way is through the Social Security website. And I'll put the link below, and that way you can go to it. It's very easy. You just got to put your information in there, and you can request your Part A or your Part B Medicare to start. The second way is on paper, and I'll put links to both papers that you will need. The first one is a Form 40B, and I'll put it in English and Spanish down below. And what you do with 40B is you just fill out the information, and that is the official request for your Part B Medicare to start if you already have Part A. The second form is an employer verification form, which is necessary to give to your employer, your previous employer. They'll fill it out, and then you'll submit that to Medicare as well to verify that you had credible coverage during that time frame when you could have got Part B but didn't because you stayed with your work coverage. Now, both these forms can be sent to the Social Security Administration via their fax. That is the preferred way that they want these to be sent in, and the fax number is 833-914-2016, and I'll put that below as well so you have it. The second way is you can mail it to your local Social Security office, but you have to find whichever one is closest to you and you'll mail it to them. And that is not the preferred way that they want to receive those documents since those offices are technically closed. Now, the second half of this SEP is for Medicare beneficiaries who already had Medicare plans but were not able to make changes during the open enrollment period, which happens January, February, and March. And so if someone did want to make a change during that time frame, but they were unable to get to the resources that were necessary to make those plan changes, under this SEP, under this special enrollment, they will be able to change their plans until July 1st. So an example of this would be someone who had a plan in 2019, they didn't like the plan and they wanted to change it, but were unable to do so during the OEP time period up until March. So in that case, they were not able to make those changes because they couldn't get access to the resources or because of the whole lockdown. They will now be able to use an SEP to enroll up until the end of June or July 1st. Another situation would be for folks who had other SEPs that came up, like for example, they moved or they lost their work insurance or a couple other SEPs, but they already went past the 60-day time frame that they normally have to do it. But they would have enrolled, but they could not because of the lockdown. So in those situations, those individuals would be able to apply under this SEP. Now, folks who would not be able to apply would be, for example, someone who had a plan in 2019. They didn't like the plan they had. They made a change in February or March, and now they don't like the new plan. Those folks will actually still have to wait until the next AEP in October to make those changes. So the SEP now is really just for folks who wanted to make changes but were not able to because of the lockdown. Okay, so I hope that helped shed some light on how you could use this SEP if you need it, if you were unable to make those changes during the open enrollment period to your Medicare plan. Or, for example, you weren't able to enroll in Medicare because of the lockdown. Now, if you find this information interesting, you found it useful, you found it helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. Also, if you have any comments, you have any questions, make sure you put them below. We love to get those comments and questions. We'll be happy to make a new post or a new video to go over whatever questions that you have. Now, finally, we here at California, we know health insurance. So whether it's Covered California, or whether it's Medicare or Medicaid or Medi-Cal, or any of those different programs, we know health insurance. And if you're here in California, our services are 100% free. Because I know that whole process, sometimes if you lost your health insurance from your work and are now getting on as an individual, or you are aging into Medicare, that whole process can be very confusing. But we're here to help you look at what your options are and figure out which plan best fits your needs as well as the benefits that you want. So other than that, I'm Michael, and this is California, wishing you a happy, healthy day.